Hey everybody, Flip and Danny here, founders of the Freedom Real Estate Group, family of companies, and welcome to another episode of our podcast, which is called
Freedom Through Passive Income.
That's right, and welcome to another episode. And these episodes, this is a part of a series called Back in Time. Back in Time. This is Back in Time, 3 years, back to 2019.
Yes.
And this is part of a series. This is part Trace. Of the Quattro series.
4-part series,
Yep.
And the reason that we're doing this series is because we underestimate what we can do in 10 years, but we overestimate what we can do in a year.
Right.
So because of that saying, we were actually in the pool when we thought of this. We said, hey, we should do it back in time. Because it was crazy. We were actually talking about moving into the house and that it was we were here for 1 month.
Right.
We're like, whoa.
Can't believe that was a month.
Yes, yeah. And as we started talking about it, we're like, this is just something important to talk about because sometimes people don't take action because they're just like, oh, I'll do it. I've got plenty of time. But if you understood the power of that time has as it compounds on your actions, we're looking back to see how far we've come. And it's just like yesterday's episode about 5 years. It's like, what? We did this much in 5 years? And as we're looking at your notes, thank you for helping with the script on these.
Yeah, I wrote this. I wrote this script.
Yeah, good job.
It took me 9 months to write these scripts.
So today's blowing me away too. Everything that you're going to talk about that we did, in the last 3 years. Unbelievable. So our admonishment to those who are listening is to take those small steps, because all those small steps that we've taken over time has gotten us to exactly where we are today. And if we would have kept on saying, I'll do it tomorrow, I'll do it next year, or I'll do it next month, or I'm too busy. And we do that a lot, quite frankly. There's a lot of things on our to-do list that we're just like, we don't have time for. But the most important things when it comes to our income and passive income and financial freedom, we find time for those. You always find time for things in which you prioritize in your life. So we want to encourage you to prioritize this.
That's right.
Take it away, Flip. What did we do in the last 3 years?
Last
Let me rephrase the question. Where were we 3 years ago?
We're still in Ohio.
Okay.
And we're on our third house now in Ohio because we kept getting bumped around.
Yeah.
But this was the house that we bought in Springboro, which is where our office was.
Yep.
So we were still in the same office. We're getting ready to start looking for a new office. So because that lease was running up, it was a 3-year lease at that office. But we were looking for a new office. But some of the things that we did our very first 4-unit. And we did it as a turnkey property. So we bought it, renovated it, and sold it as a turnkey property to a turnkey investor.
Yep.
We also did our very first 6-unit. That was actually our very first commercial. It was actually, we turned it into a 7-unit because one of the rooms you could put another wall and make another unit. So we made it a 7-unit, and the house was located on Margaret, so we called it Large Marge because the building was huge. But that was our very first commercial property.
Yes.
So way back then.
Yeah.
We didn't know. We did our very first retail flip because up until that point we'd only been doing turnkey real estate.
That's right.
So that was our first retail flip. We actually did 2 that year. We flew. One of the things we did, we went to an event in Los Angeles and we spoke at a turnkey event with other turnkey providers. And so they wanted us because they really liked us and they wanted us to come talk and get more, find more buyers.
Yep.
So we flew to Los Angeles for that. We also, this was the 2019, this is the first thing, and then I'm going to talk about another thing that really moved the needle for the companies, was in October of 2019, we flew to San Diego for Flip Hacking Live and our very first mastermind 7-figure flipping.
Yep.
And that was, talk about a needle mover. That was what started it all. If you go, hey, what was the one thing that really moved you guys? That was it, that trip to San Diego, because it really opened our eyes. And we became associated with a number of people at that point, in which just it went from there.
Yes.
It was exponentially in about 20 million different directions. That was the first thing. The other thing is that we decided to create some businesses. And so the whole story about us being vertically integrated, and I know I'm sure you've heard all the stories about why we did this one and why we did this one and why we did this one. Bulldog Renovations, which I've got the Bulldog Renovations logo on here. It was created in March of 2018, so the year before 2019. But then in 2019, we got bored, and so we created 3 companies in 2019.
Not bored.
Yeah, not bored. So Cash for Ohio Houses, which
is the
she's
shirt I
sporting
have
the
on.
hat and
Yep.
shirt right there. That was June of 2019. Also in June of 2019 was Independence Realty Group, our realty brokerage.
Yep.
And then not too long after that, in August of 2019, Independence Property Management.
Yes.
Which was before we wanted to get it made, but we had to, and that's a whole nother story. If you haven't heard that one, I'm sure there's a podcast somewhere.
Yes.
But,
there is.
So that immediately just moved our companies up to 5 real quickly.
Yes.
And I know we're going to talk about the 6th company on the next video. But quick recap, for 2019, we sold what our company sold to other investors. We sold 72 deals that year.
Nice.
And we purchased 50.
Nice.
And you're probably like, how do you purchase 50 but sell 72? Well, there's a lot from the year before.
Yes. Inventory comes from the year before that you haven't sold, and so you can sell that inventory. And as you purchase stuff, you're selling a lot of it, and you're trailing into the next year. So a lot of overlapping.
Yep, overlapping.
Yes.
Yep, exactly.
Yeah. And I like that. I actually kept the post-it note of 2017 where we sold to other investors 5 deals, but we purchased 9.
Yep.
And now, just 2 years later, we sold to other investors 72.
I think
That's a big difference.
That's a pretty good increase.
So that's a 2-year difference. So, I mean, look at that as far as how much got done in the matter of 2 years. We were selling 68 more deals, and we purchased 41 more deals than we had in 2017. So
67 more deals.
67.
You were
Yeah.
close.
Okay. Yeah. I'm doing math on the fly.
Right. And also, I said we were in the same office. Well, we were in the same office, a 5,000 square foot office, which we joked about on the other video. It was me, Danny, and Betty in this 5,000 square foot office. Well, now we're in 2019. Now we have, in that 5,000 square foot office, we've added desks into a hallway. We had 2 people in most of the rooms, and 3 or 4 people that were working in desks in the hallway. So we were full.
Yes.
We were busting at the seams. In fact, the people that owned that, we were renting, and they wanted us to stay. They wanted to extend our lease, and I'm like, we can't.
Yeah.
We got to go. We need more room.
Yeah.
And they're like, well, we can give you another building. I'm like, no, we need one building for all of us under one roof.
Yeah.
But we were busting at the seams. Bursting at the seams. One of the two. Anyway, we were full.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah, no, this is great looking at this and remembering it. Because I didn't. If you would have asked me that we created 3 companies in 2019, which ones were they? Couldn't have told you.
Yeah, we always knew the order in which we created everything, but didn't really know. In fact, we created this LLC, and it was actually the last company to kind of jump and take off. So it is interesting to see those dates.
Yeah.
So anyways, I hope this encourages you how much you can get done if you just continue to take action. And I hope you take a moment to actually reflect back and look at what you've done. And if you've done a lot, then pat yourself on the back, do a little celebration, shimmy, Copa Pop.
That's right.
And if you haven't, then be encouraged and motivated to actually take the next step and start doing these small things that add up to big things over time.
The Great Wall of China was started with just 1 brick.
That's right.
She hates that because I say it all the time. Anyway, we hope you enjoy this episode. Make sure you're heading on over to our website, freedomcapitalinvestments.com, to join our investor club and to see all the other things that we're up to there. But we like to end all our episodes with
invest smart,
live happy. Bye, everybody. Nothing on this show should be considered specific, personal, or professional advice. Please consult an appropriate tax, legal, real estate, financial, or business professional for individualized advice. Opinions and information on the show are not guaranteed. All investment strategies have the potential for profit and loss.